amazing architect. You are not gonna believe it. Yes, I get to travel around the country and I get to see some really interesting things, but occasionally I get to hop over the pond and see even more interesting things. Yes, you can see behind me, this is a house, new construction project, and it looks nothing like what we would build in America. That's because we're not in America. I'm just outside the city proper of Krakow, Poland, visiting with some friends at OKNOPLAST, and you can see we have a bunch of OKNOPLAST windows and sliders here that we're gonna talk about. But what an exciting day to walk along this project and just see how different things get built in different countries. One of the privileges I have is getting to travel around to other countries and see how they do things. Now, yes, we might never build with this clay block in America, but we might be able to take away a shading device detail, a water management detail, or I might get to see some things in the windows and doors here that aren't yet available in America. That part of the reason I'm here is to talk to the people at OKNOPLAST, see all the cool stuff, and try and bring it to you. So I'm gonna head inside. I'm gonna catch up with Tim. Tim is the national rep for OKNOPLAST in the USA, and we're gonna give you a full tour. So I'll see you inside. Hey, Tim.
Hey, Steve, come check this one out. This is a cool one.
Come check this out.
What you're looking at here.
Construction, man. You want to dive right into the windows. I'm just impressed with all the construction stuff going on out here. But go ahead, man. Let's talk.
So what we're looking at here, Steve, is the Miro Evo standard balcony door tilt and turn option.
All right.
So I'm going to switch sides with you, and I'm going to let you operate this and see how cool it really is.
Ooh. All right. Whoa. We see that it's built up. Mm-hmm. You guys certainly offer that build up under there. This builder didn't take advantage of getting it from the factory. That's a third party kind of displaced furring or whatever you want to call it, support under there, because they're going to pour a topping slab up to this, so it's not really this 6-inch step over. It's going to be much closer.
Correct.
But I know you guys have a very fancy name for this. I call it a walk-through window, right?
We call it a balcony door.
You call it a balcony door. And the reason for that is the fact that you obviously can walk out of it, but the sill treatment here is basically just like the bottom of the window. If this windowsill was up 2 feet, it would look exactly the same, just be shorter.
It is.
So it's hence walk-through window, right? Now, that being said, we can also get this option as if we wanted it as a real threshold, as an ADA threshold, and I'm sure we have options amongst the different threshold choices, right?
That is
materials,
correct.
sizes, overhangs, depths, all of that. You know, one of the things when you look at this, you can't help but realize all of the multi-point connectors. And you notice that, you know, they're very tightly knit in the corners, and then they're kind of spread out down here. Now, my understanding is on long doors, in America, we've gone to 3-point hinges, right? So it locks here and it locks up there and it locks up there. And my understanding is that's to prevent what's called curling, right? When you have a large panel like this panel wants to curl in. And so the way that you keep it from curling, and the same with the bottom wanting to curl in, is that you put connections there, and we put a nice beefy connection down at the bottom there, as well as when I look here at the right angle, I can see the daylight. So that is a fully drainable sill there. So any water that gets caught on the outside, it goes down. These have that roll down shade attachment there, but the fun doesn't stop.
No, sir.
Because that's just the turn in option. If I take this and continue another 90 degrees, I'm not gonna jump back because I know what's happening, but that's the tilt-in version. And the beauty of the tilt-in version is if I forget to close that, a bunch of things. Someone still can't break into my house, right? I'm still getting the ventilation. If in fact any water got on here, it's just gonna drain down and shed and go through that water management aspect that I just talked about there. So, and this, I believe, provides the same ventilation rate as this. And,
it does.
you know, in America, I think one of the giant myths is, you know, Steve, you don't understand. We like to open our windows all the way up. But the window opening is in response to how tight the house is, right? So the air is always going to find the easy hole to maneuver through. Mm-hmm. And so if this is the easiest hole in the house, then I mean, I could feel the ventilation. Of ventilated air coming through there just like I did when it was open. The benefit also is if I had a desk here, I'm not getting a bunch of papers whisked away, as well as I don't have to provide the floor space to accommodate this staying in the open position.
That is correct.
Now, the other thing about this that's really cool is by having the turn option, I can clean that door on the inside. So if there wasn't a balcony out there, if this was a window where, say, the windowsill was up 24 inches, I could tilt that or turn that window in and I have full access to cleaning that window.
Not to mention you do have the option to go in a double door, so with a static mullion where you can open it up and it'll be a French door style with the click that we've seen previously, I've showed you, and it'll be a double option, so you'll have double doors.
Gotcha.
With multiple thresholds as well.
Yeah, and I see, you know, the hardware, obviously, it goes all the way around the building and it's triple gasketed all the way around. So you can't quite see it here with the camera, but you're gonna have to take my word for it. When I turn this 90 degrees, you can see the sash get drawn in against those gaskets. And one of the beauties that I think it's a kind of an underrated thought about triple glazed windows is that how acoustically efficient they are, right? You know, when they do retrofits, say near airports and such noisy places, they put in triple glazed windows. Mm-hmm. And they're not doing it for the energy efficiency, they're doing it for the acoustical properties. And so here, you get to build a house, triple glazed windows. You get all of that performance, health, comfort, durability of a triple glazed window, but the beauty of it also is you get that added benefit of acoustical control.
STC is a big thing.
And the STC is certainly a very big thing. Any parting words on the tilt-turn patio door or walk-through window, as I would call it?
Tilt and turn.
Tilt and turn. There you go. And obviously, we've talked about it before, but for those that might not have caught all of the other videos just yet, these sizes are all made to order, right? So this isn't a standard size that an architect picked out of a catalog. This is a size that the architect went to the factory and said, I need something 34.5 inches by 84 inches tall.
Yes, if you need 34 7/8, we'll make it to that size. And let's not forget about the sills. You know, you do have the different options in the sills with the 88 thresholds as well.
And multiple colors, hardware colors. Again, all of those things come into play.
And many different handle options too.
And a bunch of different handle options. Yeah, it's, you know, I'm opening and closing it. You don't get the benefit to see it, but I always tell people it's like opening and closing a bank vault, right? You could feel the quality, and it's pretty rare when you're opening and closing a door. It's like if you've ever opened and closed, say, a 2-inch or an 1 3/4 inch wood door versus a hollow core, you understand the quality of that door. Well, the same here. You know, when you're talking almost probably a little over 4 inches, about 4 1/8, I think, is the profile here. You know, in both directions, triple glazing. When you close that, you know you've done something. But speaking of bigger, really cool, why don't we head over into the other room, because we have that massive lift and slide
we do, Steve.
Door. So
let's go check it out.
That out. All right, Tim, so you can't help but walk in this room and be overwhelmed by lift and slide doors. I mean, we're talking on this side here, we have about 20 feet by 8 feet of lift and slide, and here we have every bit of 12 feet by 8 feet. 6-foot leaf, 10-foot leaf. Absolutely incredible.
On the corner of the house.
On the corner of the house. So first off, I know the first question that people are going in through their mind is, wow, that is one big slider. But you know, somebody's watching that video and saying, can they make them bigger?
We can make them bigger.
Can I make this 30 feet, or can I make this a little bit bigger, or another 2 feet? Or, you know, I talked, you know, one of the privileges of coming out here and talking is not only do I get to shoot some excellent videos with you and talk to some other people, but we had lunch the other day with 3 of your top engineers. And one was with UPVC, one was with aluminum, and one who just answers all the questions they can answer.
Yes.
And so very fortunate to be in that position. And, you know, in talking with the aluminum, which these are, guy, he, you know, I was throwing out some sizes and he's like, yeah, we can do that. So I know we're going to be putting that to the test here in the very near, that challenge is not going unnoticed. Believe me, we're going to be doing that. But as far as, again, sizes, these are made to order. So there's nothing standard about these. They're just, hey, that's what size you want. That's what size you get.
That's correct, Steve.
Right.
I mean, what we're looking at behind us, this is the IUView standard lift and slide on both of these sliders here.
Okay.
So, I mean, there is magnitude of sizes that we can achieve. Pretty standard, what we quote unquote say is, you know, we could do a 10 by 10, 100 square foot panes.
Yep.
You know, that's comfortability without, you know, adding reinforcements and things in it that we can totally achieve on a project, which is a little bigger than this.
Yeah, and it would be real easy, I would assume, to take this one and engineer yet another fixed panel on the other side.
That's correct.
So we could have one operable piece, or if I wanted to, I could slim this down to a 5-foot operable piece, increase the middle section and put another 5-foot piece on the other side and have 2 means of access to the outside.
Which we were able to see in the showroom.
Which we were able to see in the showroom there. For those of you not familiar with a lift and slide, I mean, if you've been watching me, I've probably done about a dozen videos on it, but anyways, notice here, this is in the locked position. If I try and open this door here, it's not going anywhere. But the minute I take this door and I call your attention to the bottom, when I turn this, what it does, and it's hard for me to see and I'm 3 feet away, but the door comes up and gets basically set on a set of wheels. Why does that matter? Because this unit behind me is probably about an 800-pound leaf that's operable, and I could just grab this, and with little to no effort, I can move that 800-pound door very easily. Open and close. Now, one of the things that I really love about lift and slide is if you have dogs or little kids and you want to ventilate but maybe not open it all the way, you can get it to here. You can bring the door, and notice how that door dropped down about 1/4 of an inch. And you are not moving that door, and the dogs can't get out and the cats can't, or the cats can get out, but the kids can't get out. So, but that is basically the lift and slide door. And also notice multiple engagement on the locking system there. And then again,
it's literally effortless, Steve, though. I mean, when you use it, because your natural force is to push down and lift up. So it's a lot easier when lifting. Now, this is a triple glazed system, and we're moving 800 pounds like it's butter cutting through.
Yeah. So what a great system. And this one is obviously, you notice on the bottom, you're probably wondering, okay, why is that door up? This builder here chose to go with a third-party series of, what would you call that, furring or support system underneath there, even though it's a 1,600-pound door, but that goes all the way across so that you can pour the concrete slab right up to the level of the door. And I'm assuming, you know, given European standards, most of these houses have a radiant floor system for heating inside of this. But you called this the
AluView Standard.
AluView Standard.
Lift and slide.
Lift and slide door. Obviously aluminum. We can get it in all the colors. We can get fancy door handle colors. We can get it in a triple glaze. Can we get it in a double glazed option if we wanted to?
We can, yes, sir.
We can. Okay.
Also with a screen too, we do offer a screen if you'd want a pleated screen or.
Right. And I know this one here, all right, so one of the things, you know, that I just wanted to point out, it's probably easier seen from the outside, and we'll go check that out. But, you know, we have our outdoor screen system, track system there, and how the weep holes and all of that stuff comes together for water management within the component that can then be addressed as part of the whole water management system.
That's correct. Pretty cool, huh, Steve?
It is very cool. And, you know, you can't help but, you know, stand here and imagine, you know, sitting there on your couch or whatever with the family and having.
Well, if I really stand here, it really shows the magnitude.
It shows the magnitude.
Of the size, because I'm 6'6".
We have some different scale options here available in comparison. So, I don't know. Why don't we jump outside and we can take a look at exactly how this got installed and some of the featured components and important things about these OKNOPLAST doors from the outside.
That's right, Steve. Let's do it.
Let's go check it out. All right, Tim. So
hey, Steve.
We made our way outside. I'm like a kid in a candy store when I come out here because there's so many things. My mind is just racing because when I tour a house in America, it's real easy to sit there and say, oh yeah, that's this, that's that, that's that. Everything here is pretty much new except for probably the windows.
The windows.
Right? Those are the only things that kind of migrate between both building industries here in Poland and in America. But, you know, first off, here, the interesting thing is the choice to have everything be floor to ceiling glass in every one of the rooms. So it's almost like a panel of glass, a panel of wall, panel of glass, panel of wall. There's no punched opening effect that we get, say, in America here. The other thing that's hard to not recognize is that, you know, all the windows on the lower floor have shading devices.
That's correct, Steve.
You know, it's pretty interesting, and I'm probably going to go out on a limb and say they didn't put them upstairs for purposes of, you know, cost, because you do have the roof overhang, but you don't get the light blocking effect of the shading device that you would get. So I find it interesting. It's downstairs as a shading device, but not upstairs as a light blocking device. But regardless, lift and slide doors. And then I see up there, we have some Juliet balconies type systems.
That's correct.
And are those available yet in America?
They're not available in the US yet. There's some certifications we're going through to really launch that in the US. But I think it'll be very valuable for the US to see some Juliet balconies like that. So we're working diligently to
get that to work. And then these are just some very large windows. We're going to take a walk over here and check out this slider. And when I was talking to one of the guys earlier, he was telling me that's probably around 1,600 pounds.
Yes, sir.
For that one slider.
About 800 pounds of sash normally.
Yeah, so very, very interesting. And I learned a whole bunch of stuff here, again, that I've never seen before. Right? So if we come over here and look at the weep holes, for example, I noticed that there's a higher one and there's a lower one. And of course, we have some very technical people at OKNOPLAST whose lives are to decide what weep hole is doing what, right? Like all of these products are very heavily engineered. And so I had the privilege to have that conversation with them. So the lower one here, and you notice that there's a lower, higher, and then higher here. There's no lowers on that side. That is the operable side. And then on this side, we have the fixed piece of glass. So the upper one here, I'm told, that drains the inner track.
Yes.
The lower one, drains the outer track.
That's correct.
Right? So there is no inner track there to be drained because the door is over it. So we have those two down there, but the minute we jump over here, we just need the upper one, which is draining that outer track section. And then I noticed, okay, we have this kind of beefier section here, a lot of windows. And again, this one is probably what? It's probably about 20-foot long unit.
Yeah,
I would say probably somewhere on the order of about 10 feet. So you have to get some lateral resistance in there. And then I see that there's the third-party screen vendor, they have a nice piece that just attaches to your lateral stabilizer, that profile there, so that the track comes down nice and neat. The other thing that I noticed when we were inside, we talked about it, but on the outside, that displaced sill product that they use here, it comes actually with waterproofing on the outside. And I gotta say, you know, I'm not the biggest fan of barrier systems, which is what they're using here, but they're putting a lot of stock in the aggressive adhesive ability of this Illbrook tape directly onto that surface, and the fact that no water will get under there. And I peeled this back. This is nothing more than, if you wanted to, you could peel that off. It's a piece of two-sided tape. So I'm guessing if there is a building paper or something that came down, you can then attach it to that, and it has that luxury. And then of course, you can see here, we probably have about 5 or 6 inches. I did pull this back. This is a bunch of EPS or XPS foam, extruded polystyrene, which is insulating that. And like most European buildings, you have that clay block here with the waterproofing on it, and then they're just gonna bring up rigid insulation and then apply a stucco finish on the outside of that to finish it. But I wanted to go around the corner because there's a detail there that's just a little bit different, and I wanted to talk about this corner piece here. All right, now this profile, I'm told, isn't from OKNOPLAST, but you guys can certainly accommodate this profile should we need it. This, you guys have a little kind of J channel here that this metal is able to slide into and give kind of a beautiful seamless look as this thing turns the corner and then seats itself inside of that door. So there's a lot of pieces that have to come together in this corner to make that work. But you guys also offer this at OKNOPLAST as a full system to turn the corner.
Yes.
Right? And then of course, this is to power the shades. This is more of that track for the shade.
We also offer a full corner mounting slider that would meet each other in the corner if you didn't need this load of
That's fully structural.
That's fully structural.
Yeah, because from the inside, you can remember there's a concrete column here.
Right.
But you can do the thing as a full integrated structure.
Yes, sir.
Into the unit. And then again, as we go around the corner, we have all of our weep holes. So, you know, again, one of the beauties of the European style windows is you have this very large extrusion that two things have to happen. Water has to drain, but it also has to ventilate to allow water to drain. So having all of these weep holes, and just like we saw around the corner,
yeah, this side is your operable.
We have the two sides. That's the operable side, or this is the operable side, the fixed side, and that one has the inner and outer. And then over here I can stick my hand through because we didn't need that lateral resistance. This slider here is maybe about 40% the size of that one. So they just have this mounting track here to put this on there. But I don't know. I mean, it appears these are triple glazed units. I can see that on the inside there. Just beautiful. Is this just a matte black finish?
This looks like an REL would be like a 9005 or something we have in the US.
And you guys can match all the RA colors.
Any color.
And pretty much if I bring a color, I'm sure you guys can color match it.
And like you've seen inside, Steve, I mean, even with the massive size, the 10-foot panels, I mean, it's literally effortless when we're inside.
Yeah, no. All right, wow. I don't know, any parting words on the windows? This is your one chance to tell everybody in America.
Why not get yours today?
Why not? We talked about that if you got to see the little couch conversation that we had. But yeah, when it comes to Euro windows, there's the pros of the style, the engineering, and such. You know, one of the things I never really dove into is the history of European windows. It'd be really interesting to see, like, their windows and doors are just very, very heavily engineered. I mean, water management, air control, handling a triple glazed frame, all of that. It'd be really interesting to understand, like, how that migration to such a well-engineered product happened, but maybe that's something I dive into in the future.
As we go into the future and it really, you know, launches in the US and really gets a broad spectrum and things like that, maybe the history will be written for these windows in 60, 70 years in the US.
Yeah. So before we go, tell everybody, you're the architectural manager rep for the US.
Sales rep for the US.
For the US, OKNOPLAST US.
OKNOPLAST US.
Right, so it's a part of OKNOPLAST, but it's the US division.
US division.
US division, so, and you are currently and have sought after all the certifications. We have NFRC labels for America. We're working on that Juliet balcony and some of these other cool add-on packages to the windows. And
we have a few windows that are HVAC, Miami-Dade. We're working on more certifications in that department. We are NFRC certified on over 80 different glasses to choose from, and many different profiles, all the way down from our steel, aluminum, UPVC, PAVA, pixel. So there's many broad spectrums that you can really get all your certifications on your project.
And then before we leave, pretty much there's no place in America where we can't get one of these windows.
Correct.
Right? I mean, you have reps or distributors that have blanketed the country.
Yes, sir.
And service and delivery blanketed the country.
Yes.
So wherever I am, I have access to an OKNOPLAST product.
With a US-based logistics shipping.
Hopefully you enjoyed our little chat about OKNOPLAST windows and doors. All right, well, hopefully you enjoyed that. You know, again, pretty interesting construction here. OKNOPLAST windows and doors. We learned a little bit about lift and slides, tilt turn, micro turn, all kinds of different little aspects about how great your windows and doors can be, sizes made to order. I don't know, I think the list goes on and on. Probably the best thing for you to do is enjoy the video, and on your next project, give OKNOPLAST a call, reach out, catch up with Tim, catch up with some of those distributors that blanket across America, and find out how you can get an OKNOPLAST window and door into your next project. So I'm Steve Baczek, architect. I'm having a grand old time out here. I'd almost call it the fatherland. Yeah, with a name like Baczek. Yes, you know it. My family originated about 3 hours north of where we're standing here. So I'm gonna get out, check out a little bit more of the culture. Go check out some of those other videos. Go check out OKNOPLAST's website. And hey, if you have to, get in touch with me and I'll put you in touch with the right people. I'm Steve Baczek, architect. Yeah, we're in Poland, but we're heading out. You have a great day.